Coming up next, some local health facilities maxed out as sickness hits Center County hard.
Plus, dozens of people marched through State College, calling for an end to sexual violence and demanding more be done to make Penn State safer.
There's as much going on at individual living residencies and in house parties as there are at fraternities.
And the stress and pressure of finding a new place to live for next year, just after you arrive in town for school this year. The Center County Report starts now.
Good afternoon, I'm Angelica Singer.
And I'm Derek Hyde. Thanks for joining us for the Center County Report. Our top story, many local healthcare facilities are stretched to the limit right now. Long wait times and even some stores running out of cold medicine are just among the issues. Reporter Claire Vokey says seasonal colds and other sicknesses are starting to hit the area hard.
When Chloe Connor got sick recently, it wasn't easy getting help. First, she called Penn State's University Health Services nurse line.
I wasn't able to actually enter the line to speak to an advice nurse because there was such a big influx of calls, and I actually had to call about 10 times.
Connor says she eventually got an appointment, but after a few days her symptoms worsened and she called back.
She talked a lot about how UHS was beyond capacity, and she suggested that I go to urgent care instead.
In the end, she found out she had strep throat and got the medicine she needed. But with seasonal sickness sweeping the area and COVID concerns, healthcare facilities are jammed.
While there are limited options to get an appointment on campus, there are urgent cares in State College. But ones like MedExpress, you either have to wait in a very long line, or if you want to get an appointment on the weekends, they are closed on Sundays.
There have also been reports of over-the-counter cold and flu medicine running out at stores in downtown State College.
Well, the majority of people have been coming in trying to get some cough and cold medicine, and unfortunately, most of the time we have to turn them away.
Manager Josh Belnick says CVS goes through the aisles and scans what is not in stock.
Through those scans, it'll relay to our distributor, and then they'll know what items to bring back. And not all the time do they bring back the stuff we need. There definitely is a supply chain issue, something deeper to the issue there.
A busy time of year for both drugstores and medical facilities, and the winter flu season hasn't even started yet. In State College, I'm Claire Vokey for the Center County Report.
Along with seasonal illness, officials are closely watching COVID cases. The health department reported 32 cases yesterday in Center County, and Mount Nittany Medical Center is treating 35 COVID inpatients. That's 6 less than last week.
Another COVID update now. Penn State reports the vaccination rate among all students at University Park is more than 87%. The vaccine rate among all employees at UP is over 81%. And on another positive note, Penn State says the 7-day COVID positivity rate of all testing at University Park is 0.7%.
State College police are looking for suspects involved in a hit-and-run crash. It happened on September 7th in a parking lot on East Beaver Avenue. Police say the suspect is believed to be in a silver Honda CR-V with possible damage on the right front. The vehicle was last seen heading eastbound on Beaver Avenue. Police are asking anyone with information to please contact them.
About a dozen public alerts about sexual assaults have been sent out from Penn State this fall semester, and a group of protesters say it shows more must be done to prevent sexual violence. Reporter Riley Curry has the story.
Dozens of protesters marched through State College to send a message on sexual violence, happening on Penn State's campus and at other universities nationwide. The new organization called Students Against Sexist Violence created the event to show support for a 17-year-old allegedly raped at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln by a member of the Fiji fraternity. The group also hopes to make an impact at Penn State. Since the start of the semester, there have been 11 known forcible sex offenses that have been reported. Penn State students, along with State College residents, have gathered today to state their demands. Banning Greek life is just one of them. Their protest ended at Penn State's Fiji fraternity house. Organizers said they'll keep taking action until Penn State makes a change.
I originally came out here to support my friend who wanted to come protest, but I ended up, joining the crowd because the energy was very welcoming, and as a victim myself, I felt comfortable enough.
Center Safe, a facility that helps victims in the State College area, talked about Greek life and sexual violence.
There is as much going on at individual living residencies and in house parties as there are at fraternities. If anything, the fraternities are monitored a little more closely by the university.
This semester, Penn State will conduct a town hall to address sexual violence issues. In State College, I'm Riley Curry for the Center County Report.
Penn State recently released the details of a survey done every 3 years about sexual misconduct. It shows 19% of undergraduates at University Park reported being the victim of at least one sexual assault or attempted assault. That's a slight increase from the last survey.
Construction on Atherton Street in State College has started a new phase. Starting last night, the road work has switched to nights this week from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. The work zone goes from White Course Drive to College Avenue and is expected to last until late October. It's part of a project by Columbia Gas to relocate gas lines.
Like many other parts of the country, the Center County housing market is hot right now. The supply of homes has reached an all-time low, which is making buying a home an expensive waiting game. Jack McCune has more.
The real estate market gained national attention over the summer when prices for homes rose, leading to speculation of a market crash similar to the recession of 2008. But Center County realtor Shelley Wilk believes the market won't crash this time around, and instead prices will keep rising because the supply of houses does not outweigh demand. In fact, supply is at an all-time low in our area.
There's been population growth, people stay in their homes longer. There's just, not a lot of people selling, and we need more homes.
Wilk says there are an average of 15 offers for every home in Center County, depending on the week. And the more offers a seller has for their home, the more they can negotiate the price and create a bidding war. Sellers right now have the leverage.
So what do you do if you're a seller in this market? Easy. Sell your home. Now, if you're a buyer, that's where it gets a little more complicated.
Buyers may take almost a year to find a home, with many putting in multiple offers and even waiving standard items like inspections. Wilk says patience is a virtue, but preparation and persistence are even more important.
Buyers just have to be very educated. They have to do their homework. They have to meet with a lender. As soon as a home hits the market, they are in there and they're ready to write an offer.
And she says there's no sign of home supply increasing anytime soon, and prices are likely to keep going up. In State College, I'm Jack McCune for the Center County Report.
The median home list price in Center County is around $265,000.
Also, apartment hunting season in State College, as Penn State students face strict deadlines set by off-campus housing companies. Reporter Chloe Messagaitis has that story.
It's a fall tradition in State College, looking for roommates before finding friends. First-year Penn State students on campus of just over a month, already facing a key decision for next year, where to live and who to live with. Dylan Wente is stressed out, looking for an apartment lease just 6 weeks into his first semester.
I was more stressed out about getting an apartment than I was focusing on my grades.
With an unguaranteed on-campus housing lottery, students face fast decisions on signing off-campus housing leases.
It's honestly just very stressful trying to figure out how much I can spend, how much they cost, who I'm going to live with, what I need to do, how do I sign a lease, what is a lease in the first place.
Lauren Wilner says she's almost missed out on several apartments because of the time crunch.
I think that these apartment complexes just need to give kids some more time.
With heavy interest, housing companies in State College sometimes only give residents days or a week to finalize roommates and their contracts, which Wilner says can lead to problems down the road.
When they send the lease, don't say that they need it back within a day, because sometimes things happen.
Even with the majority of the State College skyline being filled with apartment complexes with 40,000 students, the demand is at an all-time high and the supply is surprisingly low. The competition and tight deadline mean there's no time to waste if you're interested in a certain apartment complex.
That goes back to how much of a competitive atmosphere it is over here. Like, people need to get on it or else someone else is going to take it from them.
We reached out to other apartment companies in the area, but they declined to comment on camera for this story. Most do acknowledge the demand is high and encourage students to sign leases as soon as possible.
The sooner you figure it out, the better.
In State College, I'm Chloe Messagaitis for the Center County Report.
Some apartment complexes around State College are offering cash incentives and prizes to bring in more student leases this month.
Still to come on the Center County Report, will you need your umbrella all week? Kevin has a 7-day forecast.
And later in sports, highlights and reaction from another Penn State football win as the Lions get ready for a Big Ten showdown. Also coming up, find out more about plans for a vacant prison outside Phillipsburg. Will it mean new jobs for the area? That's next, after the break.
Penn State has announced it will open a new Center for Racial Justice aimed at research and education around racism and racial bias. The center is part of the university's plan to address the challenges of racism locally and nationwide. It'll be based at the Social Science Research Institute in the Henderson building on campus. Among the goals, supporting research, providing resources for faculty, and developing racial justice education programs.
Just months after the closing of the Moshannon Valley Correctional Center, the facility has already launched its plans to reopen as something new. I traveled to Phillipsburg to check on its progress.
At the end of March, the Moshannon Valley Correctional Center, located just outside of Phillipsburg, was closed after the agency that oversees federal prisons declined an option to renew its contract after 15 years in business. However, after just a short time of the GO-owned complex sitting vacant, it has a new tenant, the U.S. Department of Immigration and Customs Enforcement. The Clearfield County Commissioners expect the facility to bring in 300 jobs initially at half capacity, but it could hire even more people when more inmates are admitted. County Commissioner John Sobel believes that the local area already has the people to run the operation.
They indicated that the former GO employees, of course, would be the best potential employee pool because, number one, they've got the training, and number two, they've got the necessary clearances. And so they, of course, make a perfect fit.
This would help put nearly 300 laid-off workers back to the job. But while that sounds like good news, Gary Josvik, who worked at the prison for nearly 30 years and reached the rank of captain, doesn't think that every worker is roaring to get back to the facility.
Some will not go back, and I know through past experience that some of the people they will not call back because of their past experiences dealing with inmates, so to speak, but these are going to be immigrants, so the whole process is going to change somewhat.
Now the only things you can hear are the generators that are running the buildings behind me because the brand new facility is set to open in November. Reporting from the Moshannon Valley Correctional Center, I'm Derek Hyde. ICE has already begun the hiring process for the soon-to-open complex and started the initial phases of training this past Monday.
Good afternoon. I'm student meteorologist Kevin Appleby with a check of that afternoon forecast. If you were up early this morning, you probably noticed lots of dense fog around the area, not just in the State College area, but also across much of eastern and central Pennsylvania. You can see here in the time lapse, it took a while for that fog to clear the area. The sun had to go up and burn it off. We are left with this thick cloud deck, some patchy drizzle as well around the area as we start our day and go into the afternoon. Currently in State College, we've got a temperature of 66 degrees, 2.64, not too surprising, but certainly well above what we normally are in early October. We're expecting more fall-like conditions by now. You can see on the satellite, much of the eastern two-thirds of the state is currently blanketed with this low clouds. You could see some clearing starting to take shape just north of us, north of Center County, so perhaps we'll see some sunshine as we enter the early afternoon, but generally a cloudy day across the state. Temperatures in central Pennsylvania generally in the mid to upper 60s. You could see some warmer spots over towards the southwest where they've seen way more sunshine than the rest of us, and as well in the southeastern part of the state. However, Philadelphia is stuck in the mid-60s thanks to this northeasterly flow off the Atlantic Ocean. And again, where they've had more sunlight out in the southwest, low, and they'll even rise to the mid-70s as we go throughout the day. Dew points across Pennsylvania in the low into middle 60s, a few spots in the upper 50s off to the northeast. But again, I can't emphasize enough, typically what you see in August and not in early fall. So plenty of gray for the next several days thanks to a stalled low pressure in the south. And that'll give us some stray shower chances over the next few days, unseasonably mild, especially at night as well. And we'll time it out for you. So generally the theme is lots of clouds in the eastern two-thirds of the state, chance for some showers and drizzle. Notice the western part of the state by tomorrow afternoon, mid to upper 70s in Pittsburgh. Lots of clouds keeping things on the chillier side in central and eastern Pennsylvania. So for today here in State College, we've got a high temperature of 70 degrees, mostly cloudy. I do think the sun will make an appearance. Some patchy drizzle is possible as well with calm winds. And as we go into tonight, we'll have a low temperature of 62 degrees, remaining mostly cloudy, very mild for this time of year, however. And as we enter the day tomorrow, we have a high temperature of 68 degrees, patchy fog in the morning similar to today, mostly cloudy in the afternoon, some patchy drizzle as well with some east winds. As we take a look at that 7-day forecast where the weekend is in view, we keep the clouds for the remainder of the week, some rain chances as we enter the weekend, and then maybe some light at the end of the tunnel for Monday.
Thanks, Kevin. I'm all for clinging on to that summer weather.
Thanks, Kevin. And now to Jack with sports.
Thanks, Angelica. Next in sports, Penn State men's hockey opens the new season at Pegula Ice Arena with fans for the first time in 2 years. We have highlights from the series. Also coming up, Penn State football stays undefeated after a shutout win against Indiana. We take a look back at the game and have reaction. I'm Jack McCune with sports. Penn State celebrated the return of Hockey Valley with a sweep of Long Island University Sunday and last night. After a slow start for both teams in Game 1, the Nittany Lions worked to their home ice advantage, scoring with just 5 minutes left in the first period. Penn State goalkeeper Oscar Audio defended the Nittany Lion net, only giving up one total goal to the Sharks. The Lions won 3-1. But head coach Guy Gadowski attributes the win to the fans, who enjoyed their first game back at Pegula Ice Arena since February of 2020.
It gives you an advantage through all 60 minutes. But, you know, when they're behind you and they're pumped up and they're helping the snowball roll down the hill, I mean, it's a big advantage. They've been a huge part of all the success.
Only 10 players out of the 25-man roster have experienced a full fan atmosphere before this opening series. Feeding off the energy yet again, Penn State beat the Sharks 5-2 in their second matchup last night. The Nittany Lions are back on the ice at Pegula this Friday and Saturday as they take on Canisius. Unbeaten and ranked number 4 in the country, Penn State football goes on the road this week for a huge matchup with number 3 Iowa. The Nittany Lions are coming off a shutout win against Indiana over the weekend. Reporter Mike Hopp has the highlights.
Another loud crowd of more than 105,000 fans flooded Beaver Stadium for the annual stripeout game against Indiana. Star wideout Jahan Dotson continued his impressive senior season, grabbing 2 scores and adding 84 yards in the game. The second of Dotson's 2 touchdown grabs entered both him and his quarterback into the record books. They've now connected on 18 touchdown passes, passing Todd Blackledge and Kenny Jackson for the all-time school record.
Well, I think the first thing is Jahan's good. that helps. That helps. And then I think the combination of Jahan's talent and the time that Sean and Jahan have spent together.
But the biggest story was the suffocating Penn State defense. They allowed just 264 yards, 12 first downs, blocked a field goal, and snagged 2 interceptions. The defense came up with huge plays, including forcing a turnover on downs after Sean Clifford's interception that was returned deep into Penn State territory. Defensive end Arnold Ebekadi was asked about the stop.
Taking the field in that position and being able to get the stop and giving the ball back to our offense, it was big time.
A Jordan Stout 50-yard field goal would be the final points of the game, as the number 4 Nittany Lions won easily, 24-0. After the suffocating shutout against the Hoosiers, Penn State travels to take on the Iowa Hawkeyes in Iowa City. Reporting from Beaver Stadium, I'm Mike Hopp for the Center County Report.
Penn State won its 9th consecutive game, tied for 4th best nationally with Georgia. The Nittany Lions play number 3 Iowa in Kinnick Stadium this Saturday. You can listen to the game live on Penn State Com Radio.
On to high school football. State College looked to get its 4th win of the season for the Little Lions homecoming game Friday night, but their opponent Central Dauphin had other ideas. Reporter Brooke Stake has the story.
State College Little Lions had a slow start to their annual homecoming game this year as they took a loss to Central Dauphin. The Rams scored in their first 3 drives tonight during the game and ultimately ended up winning by 3 touchdowns.
I mean, we just got to finish on defense. You know, the first quarter we had them for 3rd and long and 4th and long, and we just got to finish. That's all I have to say, but I don't feel like anybody gave up. I'm really proud of my guys tonight, even though we took a tough loss.
State High head coach Matt Lentell said that his squad got better tonight despite the loss.
We had some mishaps early in the game, took us a little bit to get going, and then we were kind of playing catch up. The game was a whole lot closer than that score indicates, but I'm super proud of our kids, the way that they play this game with great sportsmanship. They play with love and passion for one another, and I'm glad that I'm on this locker room.
State College will be back in action next week as they face Cumberland Valley and Mechanicsburg. Reporting for After the Whistle, I'm Brooke Stake.
Next up for State High is a road game this Friday in Mechanicsburg against Cumberland Valley. The Little Lions are 3-3 on the season. That's it for sports. Now back to you at the anchor desk.
Thanks, Jack. Coming up next, exercise and relaxation with a unique twist. See how goats have become part of a popular class in our area. That's after the break. Looking for something fun and relaxing to do on the weekends? Reporter Kylie Hill shows us something unique that a local farm in Boalsburg offers.
Have you ever heard of something that sounds like a joke but is actually real? That's how many people think of goat yoga, and it's quickly become more popular. The idea is simple. A yoga instructor leads a class of humans while goats run around and jump on you. Nittany Meadow Farms offers Happy Valley's first and only goat yoga classes located in Boalsburg, and it's definitely been a hit across the area. The farm partners with a local yoga studio and downtown State College, Wellness in Motion, to provide a fun and relaxing experience. Mandy Glitzer instructs the class. She says the idea for this addition to the farm came in a different way than expected.
It was a random Facebook occurrence. Tara had posted on a local mom's Facebook group that she was looking for a yoga teacher to come out and try goat yoga at the farm. The goats had never actually tried yoga before. I actually had never taught goat yoga before, but after the last year and a half we had, I thought, hey, why not? Why not have some fun?
Goat yoga began here in early April, and now, because of its rising popularity, classes fill up weeks in advance.
I have wanted to try goat yoga for at least 5 years. I first heard about it when I lived in Virginia, and I love goats so much, and I could not have been more excited when I found out that there was goat yoga in State College now.
Nittany Meadow Farm also provides goatcations. Guests can book an Airbnb and stay at one of the cottages. There are also farm tours, and customers can buy locally raised pasture-fed beef, pork, and goat meat. The farm plans to continue goat yoga during the winter months at the top of its barn. In Boalsburg, I'm Kylie Hill for the Center County Report.
Most classes this month are already filled, but you can join the waitlist for new openings.
That's all for today's newscast. We hope you'll join us Friday for our next local news update.
But you can follow us anytime for breaking news on our Center County Report Twitter, and you can see our stories on our Facebook page and our website. Have a good afternoon.
We hope you enjoyed watching the video. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you did.
For the rest of our newscasts and featured stories, click here.
And for sports, click here. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.